you genuinely went through all of the stages of a person's journey of feeling trauma, going through unbelief, blaming God, then just like God doesn't exist, and then having this like full-on conversion, just doing life with others, and God intervenes. He never stops chasing us,
No,
and
he
here you
doesn't.
are.
Until I met my now husband in a nightclub.
Oh my goodness.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Tea Talks. Today I have my new friend who I am going to get to know with you. And I actually enjoy podcasts that are like this because everything he's going to share with me, it's going to be brand new to me and to you as well. So welcome, Philip.
Hey, good to see you virtually and all of you who are watching or listening.
Yes. So Philip and I, we're both pastors, and we are pretty much youth and young adult pastors, and
Mhm,
we are part of this group that is throughout our United States, North America, I think,
mhm, mhm,
of different professionals in the area. And
mhm.
basically, we have never talked
Yeah, yeah.
except for things
On
that we
text.
only on text and usually in a group. So
Yeah.
I am actually really excited to get to know you a little more. So I'm going to start there. Why don't you tell me who Philip is?
Hey, well, thank you so much for having me part of this. I'm really looking forward to our conversation. A little bit about me. Well, I am a believer here in California, Southern California, live in the sunny part of the country. We pay a lot in rent, but half of it is because we like the sun most of the time. So,
That's nice.
oh man, it is a blessing to have that. I used to live in Michigan and in Washington in spaces where it was cloudy so much of the year. It is a game changer, Chris.
I
It is.
lived 3 years in Michigan and counting the days to leave. Love the Michigan people. Love the beautiful weather.
Oh
I mean,
man,
the beautiful weather, no, the beautiful scenery. But the
yeah,
weather, oh my Lord.
it
I'm
was.
from Brazil. I can't handle that.
That's rough. Oh, yeah, I'm from a Mediterranean climate. I'm actually from former Yugoslavia originally. I
Mm.
was born in Bosnia. My mom's Croatian, dad's Serbian. So we love the sun, the water. I was just there with our family in Croatia this summer. So yeah,
I
the
was wondering where the last name is from. I didn't even try to say
yeah.
it.
One of my deaconesses at church, she was like, Pastor, I can't say your last name. Milo what? I'll just say meatloaf sandwich. Hey, that worked. That worked.
I love it. Okay, how do you say your last name?
Milosavljevic. Milosavljevic.
Milosavljevic. Okay,
That's pretty close.
Milosavljevic.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, I will forget soon, so
Yeah,
let's just stick with Philip because that I'm more
yeah,
familiar with.
yeah, yeah. That'll work. That'll work. So originally from former Yugoslavia, we came to the U.S. in almost like 30 years ago. I was a little boy. So we moved around. My dad was actually a pastor as well. So and my grandfather on my mom's side. So I'm the third generation in ministry. Loved the church, but it wasn't until I was 19 as a pastor's kid that I really became a Christian, I would say.
Mm.
I knew a lot about faith. I was around churches. I was, growing up, even up on stage, singing, doing music, all kinds of things. But that head to heart conversion didn't happen until I started reading the Bible for myself, and it changed my life, reading the Gospels. So that was a pretty important time in my life when I would say everything changed for me pretty profoundly. So 19, I was doing biology in college, and then I was like, you know what? I love ministry so much. I'm gonna do this. I think with everything that I've got in me, Lord, I would love to do this full time. And I sensed that call to ministry and never looked back. Never looked.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, the next question I was gonna have is like, how did it switch? Okay, one thing is, okay, you came to Christ,
yeah,
but the other thing is, I'm gonna do this full-time
right.
ministry.
Right. The only time ever, I'll tell you, this is a funny story for people. Only time ever I thought like, oh boy, what would it be like to be something else? I was at a hospital doing a visitation. I was doing some clinical pastoral education. I'm
Mhm.
sitting there in the ER and talking to a family member of a patient who was on the table literally being operated on. It was a tough moment. And one of the techs, Chris, comes over to me and looks over at me and says, "Doctor, we're ready for you to look at all of the X-rays. Would you like that here or in your office?"
Wait, wait. They thought you were the doctor.
They thought I was the doctor. That was the only moment I was like, "Boy, that does kind of feel good, doctor." Uh, so yeah, that was the only time I ever thought, boy, maybe I should do something else. Otherwise, I have loved what I've been able to do. So
It is
it,
so
it's
funny.
good. It's good.
Yeah. Well, now you are a doctor, right? In ministry.
Technically, I am. That's right. In theology, yeah, I got my
Yes.
doctorate a few years ago. Finished at Fuller Theological Seminary.
But the people say that's not real doctor. Yeah,
It,
because they
I
look
know.
at a doctor as an medical doctor.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Right. And understandably so. If someone,
absolutely.
we were traveling to Europe and they said, "Is there a doctor on board?" And I'm like, technically, I'm a doctor, but I
But
cannot help
no,
you with your medical emergency.
not that kind of doctor.
Yeah. I tapped my wife on the shoulder, who is an actual medical doctor. I said, "They need the other kind of doctor."
The other kind of doctor. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
that is. So married, wife.
Married, wife, we have 3 kids, actually 4, 1 on the way. So my wife is pregnant, due
Wow,
on my birthday on the 5th of December. So if
that
anyone
is
wants to send me
amazing.
a gift, I'll be in a hospital.
There you go.
Yeah.
How old is the oldest one?
6
Oh,
and
so you have,
yeah,
yes, one right after the other. That's a lot of
4
fun.
and 2.
Yeah, I had kids very far apart,
Oh, okay.
and I think like when they were small, it was good to have
Mm,
them far apart because I was able to enjoy each one of them as a
mm.
baby instead of having a bunch of babies,
Oh,
because they
that
were 6 years apart. So one was 10, no, 11, 12, 6, and then baby. Up
oh,
to that point wasn't so bad, but when the one from elementary school started going to middle school, then I had a pre-K and a daycare. It was a nightmare.
oh,
Just to try to get it was a nightmare. But
oh.
as babies, it was awesome because I enjoyed each baby. It was almost like the only child baby,
Oh.
because you really get to enjoy them. But now I look back and I'm like, nope, have all of them. Just have them.
Oh man, yeah, God bless my wife. She's amazing. She has gone through a lot. All of you women who are producing kids like this, oh, it is a miracle.
It is a
It
miracle.
is a miracle. So,
So, okay, you felt called to ministry,
yeah.
but it looks like you really specialize more towards youth and young adult. How was that?
Yeah, yeah. So when I started, preaching when I was 12 years old, with my dad, and then I always had a love for preaching, so that kind of stayed with me. So I've really enjoyed ministering to the whole congregation, all ages. I love preaching to all different groups, but ministry in particular to that kind of young person is so important to me because these are the foundational years that big decisions about life are being made. I mean, I was in my office here, I'm in my office with a young adult just trying to grapple with what does it look like to navigate the challenges of life and how do I move from this to this level in my life? How do I get married? These are amazing times and so I love being part of that. Now, while that is something I love being part of, I also have to tell you, going back to my call, that's what I sensed the Lord put in my heart though.
Mm,
When I sensed this call to ministry, it was preaching, made an appeal, young people at the front, they're crying, I'm crying with them. And I sensed this voice say, "Philip, could you see yourself doing anything else
mm,
but this very thing with my people, my young people?"
mm,
And so I've really felt that burden to that because that was part of my initial call to ministry. So I spent years as a young adult family pastor and then youth pastor, and now just kind of specializing as a young adult pastor in a church here in Southern California. And it is an exciting space to really be on the front lines of faith decisions and kind of just developing. So that's what I've been doing now.
Yeah, a little bit. That was the reason why my heart was is into youth and young adult as well, because I came to Christ in my young adult years
Mm.
and I was a wild one. So, yeah. Okay.
Your
Now,
parents were praying for you, huh?
I don't know if my parents were praying for me.
No, no, no. What your story is kinda interesting. I think if I remember, you kinda you were, like, kind of a first in your family
Yes,
to
yes, I
come to
was
faith.
to become a Christian, and it's like back in my country, which probably your country too. And the whole country was just cultural Catholics.
Mm,
Okay, and that's how my country was. Not so much anymore. My country have become more. I wouldn't even say Protestant. It's more evangelicals. It has
okay.
mixed a lot.
Mhm,
But
mhm,
I'm from Brazil. But back in my time, everybody was Catholic. Even
mm,
if you never go to church, it's just part of the culture.
mm,
Then in my teen years, I became, there was a lot that happened, very traumatizing stories in my childhood and stuff like that. But then I was like, I can't believe there is a God of love that allows me to go through all of this.
mm,
And I became an atheist.
yeah,
Then when I moved to the United States, here I didn't feel the pressure of the culture to be a Christian. And here it was really open to say, no, God does not exist. Religion is just to take advantage of people.
mm.
And so I was not your friendly. Oh, the mic's gonna fall. I was not your friendly atheist. You know, I
Right.
was the kind of person that I was very, very, I think the word is antagonist or something like that, but I was,
Mhm,
I did not like it.
mm.
Anyways, but I'm here now.
So so
Crazy
now
story.
yeah, that is it. So now when you talk about asking me, "Hey, what was that one moment?" What was
Mm.
that for you? What was that moment when it changed?
Ah, it was kind of like a short period, but it wasn't a moment. It was like a progression of that short period.
Okay.
Basically, I already had been pretty much married twice, got divorced, had 2 kids.
Yeah,
Um, I was like, you know what? Relationships don't work, marriage
yeah,
don't work because
yeah.
I in both sides of my family, father and mother, not a single one, my father, uncles, aunts, nobody's married. All of the relationships failed.
Mm,
Uncle cheating, father cheating, other
mm,
things happening. No relationships that was any model of a good relationship. So now I was in my second one, I didn't get married, we just lived together. The other one was divorced. Both of them I had children. So I was just repeating that cycle of unhealthy relationships. And at this point in my life, I was like, you know what? God doesn't exist.
mm,
Marriage is a man made institution that has failed.
mm.
And there is nothing tomorrow. Like after you die, there is nothing. I'm just
Yeah.
going to enjoy life.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm gonna live for the here and the now. And
Wow.
yeah,
Prodigal Chris here. Let's
prodigal. It was
oh,
really bad.
man. Oh,
And I just delve in full on parties. And I was, in a sense, I was responsible because I worked, I pay my bills, I pay my children daycare,
yeah,
and I never left them alone. They always stay. I mean, I had some kind of conscious of right and wrong,
yeah,
and I left them with their fathers, and I would go party.
yeah.
But life was just one big disappointments and
Mm,
parties and stuff
mm,
like that.
mm.
And until I met my now husband in a nightclub.
Oh my goodness. This is a great story.
Well, I didn't meant to turn into my story, but my
I
story is kind of crazy.
I love this.
So I met him in a nightclub drinking and dancing. I'm a Brazilian that I
Yeah.
play around that I am a defective Brazilian because I can't dance. The only Brazilian that can dance or sing.
Oh, man.
And when I drink a little, my body relax a little, and I'm
Ah,
able to dance. And
ah.
I saw the way that he did the movements, and I was like, "Oh, I can dance with him." So I had no interest of any relationship or anything like that. I just wanted to find somebody that I could dance with. It was in Florida, so it was already United States, but it was a Brazilian night. So, anyways, that's how I met my husband. And my husband was friends with a group of about 20 young people.
Uh-huh.
young adults, like in 20 something. I was probably the oldest, like 24.
Uh-huh.
Um, my husband is 4 years younger than me.
Oh, 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 oh.
Yes. No, actually,
Drop it.
I was 26 at the time, and he lied to me. He said he was 24, and he was 22 years old. He was 22 years old. It's a crazy story.
Oh, man.
Anyways, but then I started going out with him and his friends. And there was a mother in that group that was raised in our denomination, and she was like fourth generation Christian, and she was trying to reach her children that were part of this group.
Wow.
And so there was a bunch of things that started happening, and but pretty much was because of that. No, the craziest thing is, I at some point I started having Bible studies.
What?
And the Bible studies was on Wednesday night. And I started mentioning to the group that would meet at this lady's house on Friday nights. And they started getting curious about it. And so the whole group started studying together. And
Wow.
then we would meet at her house for Friday Vespers. We didn't call it that. But, anyways, we would eat, then go to the nightclubs Friday night, nightclubs Saturday night. Sunday, I remember several times at the beach in Florida, doing a barbecue at the beach, drinking alcohol, eating everything that you can imagine, and argue about the Bible.
Wow. I
That
love it.
that is in a nutshell. Anyways, didn't mean to take the whole conversation, but in a nutshell, that's how it started. And then there were a few more things that happened until
Yeah,
my
yeah,
actual conversion. But yeah.
yeah. See, that's so beautiful because you genuinely went through all of the stages of a person's journey of feeling trauma, going through unbelief, blaming God, then just like God doesn't exist, and then having this like full on conversion, just doing life with others, and God intervenes. He never stops chasing us,
No,
and
he
here you
doesn't.
are.
Yeah, that's why I have a passion, and that's why I'm like, yes, they, because I remember the lady that opened her house to us. She's really the one for the first time that showed me what a family can be, what
Mm,
love can be.
mm,
And then I started getting curious because the way that she treated me, I started getting curious to know about her God.
mm.
And today, 20 years later, we talk, and she's like, Chris, the things that you guys would tell me, like the life we were living and the things we would tell her, it's completely against all of her principles and beliefs.
Mm.
It's still, she never showed that to us. She
Wow.
never started like pointing, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, which when I go to church, the first thing when I start doing the growing together seminars,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, but when are we going to tell them that they're living wrong? And I'm like, never. Sure, I explain. I give a little more of the situation. But the thing is, we think that it's our job to correct the young people.
Yeah.
And more time is passing, more I realize, no, it's not our job to correct them. It's our job to love them.
Mm. Now you gotta realize that very statement that you're making, I don't think a lot of people comprehend how vital that is because we live in a country today where almost 60% of people are being born out of wedlock. So that means it's a single home a lot of times as well. And then in certain communities, you've got 80% of fatherless homes. Hey, come on. So now you're talking about dysfunction. Then you got second, third, fourth marriages. I got stepdad. I mean, talk about dysfunction of the nuclear family. So when you say, hey, we've got to love them, it is actually a profound statement. It is a profound reality that many young people do not have.
Hmm.
And the love that they do see at times that they kind of look at love, it could be even a dysfunctional one. So if a kid is being born in a home with a mom and dad there that genuinely love them, that have a good marriage, their stability, that's a rare thing.
Very
So
rare.
when the church interjects itself as being this safe space, I have to tell this to people regularly. Hey, the fact that they're here, praise God.
Exactly.
Praise the Lord that they're here. It's our job definitely to love them. There is a space for teaching, correction at
Hmm.
certain times, but this moment when they walk in, no, this isn't the moment you tell them anything. Like, I had a church member who literally, you would not believe it. Someone would come to church for the first time in a long time, and God bless this old curmudgeon of a person. You can't be dressed like this walking in here. I didn't even think that happens anymore still,
It does.
but it does. I could not believe it. I couldn't believe it. They walk straight out. They
Yeah,
walk
of course, we
straight out.
are between. I am in North Carolina, you're in California. The realities between California and North Carolina are very different. And there is a difference too between the bigger cities in North Carolina to the smaller towns. Okay.
Mm, mhm,
But this is such a gigantic reality here that we are still saying things like that.
mhm.
And that's what breaks my heart. And then they look at me, and I was actually mentioning to you before we started talking here that I started an online church because there's a need for young people. And a lot of people criticize, saying, oh, she's trying to create this lovey-dovey church
Oh,
that doesn't
brother.
preach the truth.
Mm.
And I am like, people are not getting it. They
Yeah,
are not understanding
yeah,
that, yes, let my church be known as the lovey-dovey, because
yeah,
that's what God is,
yeah, yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Oh, but when are we going to correct them? Like you said, there is a time to teach.
yeah.
And there is. But we need to allow, first of all, we have to remember, because we almost think that God is powerless
Mm,
and I need to do the correction
mm.
because God cannot do that job.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we are so lost that we believe that being a Christian is by following this set of rules, in the sense of, and
Mhm,
and let me explain this well, because this can be taken out of context.
mhm,
Yes, God has his moral principles, his 10 commandments, and those are non-negotiable. But then we have other set of rules, and I thought it was only our denomination because as a new Christian, I didn't know of other Christians traditions and routines and stuff like
mhm.
that. But then I found out that it's most of Christianity, at least in the
Oh,
United
yeah.
States. And how you dress, what you eat, how what you do, you know, like they
Mhm,
they have these lists that are interpretation of something biblical, that we
mm,
need to understand the principle. And when you say to be a Christian, you have to dress this way, you have to eat this way, you have to talk this way, you have to do this way, we have completely lost any sense of what it is, the gospel, of what it is to be an actual Christian.
mhm.
You know, that Jesus sat and ate and loved the sinner before they changed.
Yeah. It's a misunderstanding that it's not about rules in the sense like we're following rules. No, 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 you're following a person who has a lifestyle that is life-giving. John 10:10, I have come that you might have life and have it abundantly.
Yes.
You're following someone who's living in abundance, and that abundance changes you. I
Yes.
want to be like him. You will be changed. In a twinkling of an eye, there will come a day when Jesus comes again, second coming, and people are going to be changed instantaneously. But here on this earth, there's this process, this theological big word of sanctification, another word of transformation or discipleship. It is a journey of a walk, and it takes time to change.
Exactly.
And so I think it's all about approach. Some people, it's always about fear. When someone hears you say something that, oh, it's all about love, they're interpreting that within a lens of fear. Oh, they're
Mhm.
not going to tell them about the scripture and this and this. No, that's not at all. It's just the approach, the methodology has to be utilized
Yes.
differently for different settings and different times. Just like you wouldn't tell a little baby who's 2 months old, hey, you can't eat like that. You can't just put your hands in your food and throw it all over. What are you thinking? There's rules in this house. No. Hey, it's a little baby. We forget to understand human spirituality within the same psychosocial developmental process of a child all the way to a mature adult. It's
Mhm.
the same thing. Spirituality works in the same way. And if you've ever studied like Fowler's process of faith development and whatnot, and several others, but some people who are in that still infant stage of faith development shouldn't be doing youth ministry actually. Because if you don't know how to think in gray out of black and white, well, it's out of the rule. I don't know what to do when they're telling me like, I don't think God exists, pastor. Or, I might want to sleep with my girlfriend and you're, no, you better not, then there's this fear approach, but it's like, hey, no, I'll get to that with them, but they've got to know that I've won their trust and that there's this desire for my feedback and mentorship together. And then, wow, now they're listening. I gave them an embrace first, then we walked side by side through life together. And now I have their heart because I won their trust.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, and you're right, is the fear. What if me as a parent, I don't teach them and they deviate from God because of me? As a church member, what if I don't tell them and other people see what are they going to think of us as a church if we allowed somebody dressed like this to come to church, you know? And there is the ego, there is the fear, there is the
yeah.
all of these things. And I love one of our pastors actually, he said something, why are you making this about you?
Mm,
And I was like, interesting. He was giving an example, and his example was very real, and as a mother, very understandable. Like a parent told the child not to go to this party and so, and she went to the party, she drank, she got raped.
oh,
And then the father in the hospital now, it's like, but I told you, you didn't listen to me. And then our pastor turned around and was like, since when is this about you? And I
mm,
was like, whoa, that is yes, it's not about us, it's about the
mm,
suffering
yeah,
of this girl. Yes, she shouldn't have done what she did. We're
yeah,
not encouraging her or anybody to do that, but
yeah.
that's not the point right now.
That's not the time and place.
No,
Not the
that's
time and place.
definitely not the point. And unfortunately, it's so interesting because I came from completely being in the world, as they would
Mm,
say, and came to the church. So I was a single mom first, then I got married and had another child, and I had a lifestyle that is absolutely not what Christ wants for me.
mm-hmm,
Absolutely.
mm-hmm.
But when I came, people praised me. Oh, wow, look at her. She changed and blah, blah, blah. Now, if you meet somebody in church that does the same thing that I did, they don't, not even praise. I'm talking about not even support. They discipline and they cut them from the
Mm,
church.
mm.
You know, like somebody that did exactly what I did. Oh, why? What is the difference? Because they should know better.
Uh,
But does it work like that?
mm,
You know, it's like you said, you really became a Christian. You really got to know Christ. You were 19.
yeah,
You were raised in a church,
yeah,
listening to all of the sermons. A father that
right.
was a pastor,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and yeah, so many little things.
Mm.
And I am a little disappointed because pretty much our time is already done. And I don't even think we scratched the surface of so much that, because of everything that I have seen you talk on our text group, so much that other things that I wanted to talk to you.
Yeah, yeah.
So I want to invite you. Can we do another one?
Hey, part 2 is gonna
let's,
come.
yeah, let's do a part two because I feel like we have a lot that
Talk about.
we can talk about, we can get
Sure.
into deeper. But for now, I just want to say that I really appreciate your time and this little time that we had to
Yeah.
start a conversation and getting to know you a little better. And yeah, let's schedule another one. Thank you
Let's
so
do it again.
much.
Absolutely. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.